Hello, everyone. For some reason, the camera is not working. Says no active and connected camera was found. So I'm going to try to come back in. Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Um, we're going to do a 1 hour AMA today. And after that, I have to fly out. I have to go to the airport. But can everyone hear me? If anyone can hear me, just
I can
confirm.
hear you.
Yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Glad everybody's on. So, wanted to update the community right now with what we've been preparing. We have our financial audit, which is a basic thing that we've been going through. It's almost done. It's almost concluded. We brought in Chisencia Ross Ferenz as our lawyers for our public offering and the whole structure towards that path. Basically, the plan right now is we're going to prepare for launch of our services with the marketplace. We're going to do it in 3 key cities in the US and some cities in Latin America. We're going to start with New York, Miami, and Washington, D.C. In the first stage of launch. Brad Parscale through Nucleus, his company Nucleus, is using all the data from the political campaigns that they did. They have over 200 million registrations and data from over 200 million people in the US that was done through the political campaign. So we're using that data to target customers for our marketplace and for our services. And that's the customer acquisition strategy and plan. With the launch, we plan on launching and soon after that doing the IPO where we can show basically revenues coming in and optimization of the customer acquisition strategy for the marketplace. And in regards to the hashing of the blockchain with the LifeChain, that's built into the build, and it's something that's caused a lot of positive views from Wall Street in general. Seshensia is a Wall Street firm. They basically handle IPOs. They've done tons of deals, and so we went with them to structure all our legal structure for the next stage. And right now, that's what we're preparing for. So we have contracts out with the manufacturers. We'll be launching also Mexico with our marketplace and Panama as a basis, and maybe a couple of other countries or cities in other countries. And we should be done with that in the next few months before year's end, before the IPO comes out. We're planning on launching that and at least having 1 month of results to showcase our projections moving forwards. So that's the current plan in place. We've been working on getting everything in order. Things like all our contracts that are out coming, we have to have our contracts back. That's been a whole bunch of work in itself just to have all the contracts with the manufacturers ready in different countries, the logistics for delivery, home delivery in the US and outside of the US. We have that ready. We brought in Camilo Sandoval. I'm going to post who he is. He was a former Chief Information Security Officer for the federal government, and he's our new senior government strategist. And we're going to add a whole plan for the VA in the US, which is a big differentiator in how we go about it, because the VA in the US has a a thing called Veterans Choice, where the veterans can choose what healthcare service they want to use as a primary healthcare service. This was designed because in some places of the country, there's not good access to veteran hospitals. So they created this program to allow veterans to come in and use other healthcare services. And basically, as a company, all we do is invoice the VA. Obviously, we have to stick to certain requirements, but it's not something that is that big a deal from our perspective to get done. And we'll be able to build them. So that alone opens up the market dramatically. It's something that we know we can target with the data that Brad Parscale brought in through Nucleus. And that's what we'll be doing as customer acquisition strategy and projecting out what kind of revenues and the kind of user profiles that we're targeting based on that data. So it's a very valuable thing to have that data. The manufacturers are very happy with the model because we know we can offer lower cost products, pharmaceuticals, and our free healthcare services will be maintained and highlighted as our mission to provide free basic healthcare grows. But the good thing is with this model and with the data funnel towards the marketplace, we can kind of optimize to increase revenues and ensure that we always have the telemedicine operating at an optimum level, and we can funnel users to buy directly in the marketplace or go into consultations. We're also going to start off with a pilot right off the bat. It's something that Wall Street really liked with the veterinaries, the pets side of things. We were originally planning on launching doctors, psychologists, and then adding later on the year veterinarians, but the market itself for vet products and veterinary services, it's still a big opportunity, and it can also increase the revenues dramatically and the amount of transactions that we have. So we're adding that as a initial pilot. It'll be a paid service, an additional paid service. We're going to test that out to see how we can grow with that, but it'll be based on the data that we acquire from the initial launch. But we're definitely going to launch with the additional service of speaking to veterinarians for free, and also having an assortment of vet products that we can sell in the marketplace. We already have the manufacturers for those as well. That was actually not that difficult to find. Some of the companies that manufacture pharmaceuticals and goods for humans, also do some products for pets. So we had enough products to start off with that, and we're going to have a small group of veterinarians in the initial stage to cover that, and that's going to be in U.S. and Mexico. So that's where our initial plan is for our launch. Basically, right now we've been just setting everything up and putting everything in order from a contractual perspective, from the logistics perspective, getting all the licenses and all the legal stuff done for all the regulatory requirements that we have to meet. We've gone through this process before from the telemedicine aspect, but adding the marketplace with the products, it requires us to have certain licenses so we can sell certain pharmaceutical products directly, and that's something that we have covered from the legal perspective. So those are the additional things that we're doing now, combining our healthcare services with the marketplace. So we think that it's a good moment. A lot of people have questioned whether taking the company IPO during this time is a good thing to do, but generally speaking, there's been a lot of good IPOs that have bucked trends in this cold market that we're in right now. So I think we have a very good chance. Everyone is betting big on this. Everyone that's gotten involved. If you Google Camilo Sandoval, you can see the profile of people that we're bringing in to oversee operations, to oversee our strategy with government, and to do our marketing, as far as Brad Parscale, and to do everything that we need to do to execute a great launch and show results right away. On the crypto side of things, the LifeChain, it's a separate entity. It's being subcontracted by Doc.com to do the hashing, but there's two very important elements on that. One is the transparency, that we're offering with real-time hashing of product sales and with real-time hashing of our consultations as we did in the past. That's a very unique aspect because people can sort of kind of project out revenues based on the blockchain hashes for product sales. You won't be able to see on the actual hash what product was sold, but you'll know that a product was sold, and that's a real-time hash that we're doing. And then we have the hashes of the services themselves. So that's real-time, publicly verifiable data, and we're going to use that data in conjunction with the manufacturers to optimize the sales strategy. They're working very close with us in that. That's how we're planning on executing this. So we have opportunities to take in further funding now, pending our financial audit. There's different investment banks that want to place our stock with their retail investors, which is very positive. Obviously, the hashing of our services is something that's directly related to MTC, and MTC obviously is what we're using to hash all this. So and also offer rewards to our customers. So that's the general plan. That's what we're launching with. We're going to optimize with all the analytics that we have and use those in conjunction with the manufacturers to optimize sales. So for example, Procter & Gamble or any other manufacturer, they'll also have access to our sales data, so they can participate with us in optimizing the sales strategy. Even though the services are separated, the system that's separated from the actual marketplace, because ethically speaking, we're offering free healthcare services. It's still beneficial from a data perspective and a systems perspective to use this data to optimize sales and increase revenues while maintaining the free services as the highest quality and full, most transparent process possible. So people are just catching on to this aspect of it. I think really our business model is pretty transparent as far as how we go about it. I'm going to display something on the screen here so people can see how this works, how our business model works with the pharmaceuticals. One moment. And then we'll go into the questions, Q&As. Let's see, one moment. I hope everyone is doing fine. I'm here in New York right now. It's been a lot of work that we've been getting through. This whole process, I really like it very much because it's, being preparing the company to be a public company is really kind of, we're designed to be a public company. I think we always envisioned it as something that would be very beneficial as a public company and to showcase our work. So, Wall Street is very excited about that. Hold on, here we go. Can everyone see? Let's see. Okay, so I hope everyone can see the screen there. This is just an outline. I'll explain what this means. Here on the left, you have users that use a service. So basically our funnel, our marketing funnel with the data that we have through Nucleus is going to be funneled directly into this. So the user comes into the app. There's three possibilities for the user to do. They can either go to a doctor consultation. They can go to a psychological consultation. We haven't added the veterinarians, but it's basically the same thing. But we're adding it to the presentation to this just to understand the business model. And then we have the third option, which is directly to the marketplace. Because many of the products that we're selling, you don't have to have a consultation to purchase. So these are estimates. We're basically kind of splitting this up between three possibilities, 32% here, 32% here, 36%. This is all optimizable. So we can say we're going to change the ad structure, the ad funnel to try to funnel more users towards a marketplace. And that's something we can optimize on with these real-time analytics. So from there, we have, based on our previous data from our services, if someone goes into a doctor consultation, they either wait in line to get the free service or they can pay to get get in the queue faster, or get up in the queue faster, so they can have a faster consultation, not have to wait so much. But the free service is always there. And then we have, based on our data, 90% of our users came out with a prescription. And so they came out with a prescription based on our previous data from our services. And then we have an assumption that 40% end up buying it directly from our marketplace and 60% don't. So with these numbers, we can calculate potential revenue streams and play around with these percentages, knowing that we can modify the results on these things depending on how the funnel directs customers into our app. So this is, we could potentially change what's Brad thinks is we can increase the funnel that goes directly into the marketplace by way more than 36%. And that's our, I guess, the smartest path for our business model, because it also has the lowest cost. In the doctor consultations and psychological consultations, there's always a possibility that a customer will come in, have a free consultation, and not purchase. And that's just the cost of us doing business. It's how we're subsidizing the free aspect. Despite that, there's a very high probability that they'll purchase products after a consultation, just based on the data that we have, because people usually end up, if they have a product suggestion or a prescription from one of our doctors or our psychologists, they usually end up purchasing product. And so that's the basis of our model. And this, we can control this and optimize with this model to ensure that we always have the free aspect open, so people can receive free healthcare. And if someone decides to go faster into queue, they can pay a small amount of money. We're thinking about $4 to get faster in queue. And then in the end, they're purchasing directly in our marketplace that ends up in a buy. And so, that's why it's very important that we work directly with the manufacturers, so the margins are healthy enough to subsidize all the cost of doing business for us, which is offering our free healthcare services. So that's how our business model works. It's pretty simplified. It's not that difficult to understand, and that's one of the key components of the simplicity of what we're doing and how we can optimize with data. But this is generally what's been presented to investors and the investment banks, and this is what the let's say the grand people are speculating, that we will have very good sales through this strategy. The way we're acquiring customers with the data that we have through Brad Parscale, and the kind of margins that we have with our products, it's a very healthy model. Now, every time someone there's a product sale. So every time we get to the consultation and we pass that full consultation, there's a full data capture. It comes along with a blockchain hash. And every time a product is sold, whether it's directly through the marketplace or it goes through a consultation, there's also a hash there. And these are real-time public hashes that will be happening, as you saw in the marketplace. In the UX that we have, there's a hash that's displayed there directly, and you can view the hash details, which are basically just identifying that there was a consultation done with a full data capture, and there was a purchase of a product, and that product has blockchain tracing itself. So there's two main things that the hashing will do, that the MTC is used for, which is hashing product sales and hashing the consultations. And the third thing is, there's also a hash done every time a product is along the pipeline of the manufacturing pipeline distribution. There's a hash every time something like that happens, and that's part of the blockchain tracing that we're adding to our products, which is also a very unique thing in the pharmaceutical space in general that no one's quite doing right now. But we're combining these things and doing it all with the LifeChain. So those are where the hashes will be happening. And so every product sale and every consultation has a direct relationship to the LifeChain and its hashing, and it's a very clean, very transparent way of going about things in our business model. It's also one of the reasons why it's such an attractive thing towards Wall Street, because of the level of transparency that we're offering. It's very different from any other company that's doing anything like this now. So that's what we've worked on to prepare for our launch. We still have quite a bit of work to do. There's still some contracts out that we still have to come back, but we'll have those wrapped up before the launch. And we have the legal team. Everyone is working very diligently to get everything done as fast as possible and prepare for our launch. And this will also allow us to raise more capital down the road if we need to, which there's already bigger funds that are interested, some of the most renowned ones that want to see the results of this. So MTC is still being used for the hashing. It's also being used for rewards for users. Every time they have a consultation, they receive some MTC, and that's all within the app as a point system. So those are redeemable for MTC, but they're really within the system. They're used as a point system that can be redeemed for MTC. Either way, it's still displayed as MTC in its price point, and you receive that in MTC within the app itself. So it's used for those four things: hashing of products, hashing of sales, hashing of consultations, and rewards internally for users. So that's our value proposition in regards to our blockchain component. And this is a pretty understandable revenue stream. It's dependent on product sales, and it's just something we feel that this is a very solid way of moving forwards to optimize our revenue streams and not only keep but grow our mission of providing free basic healthcare, which that system is independently separated from the actual marketplace itself. So doctors and psychologists, they have no obligation to sell any product. They know that the person on the other side is receiving the services for free. It's a very philosophically, as a psychologist or a doctor, this is kind of what doctors, why they become doctors, because the need to help people. So it's a very beneficial thing, and there's no obligation to sell product. But as we know, people get prescriptions and things, and that's the other part that we're resolving with the marketplace. So that's a general update right now. We have a plan to have this wrapped up within the next 3 months, with all the legal things that are necessary for IPO. Our financial audit will be done, and we will be ready to launch our services soon after. So, that's how we're starting with our launch. So I'll go ahead and answer questions for the next 30 minutes, and you can post them on the group chat, or we can, if someone wants to raise their hand or speak, you're also welcome to. Let's see, I'm looking at questions here. Will MTC be used as a company internal currency? Well, yes, as I mentioned, it's going to be, it's basically integrated into the rewards for users. It's an integral part of our transparency to use MTC and the LifeChain to do all the hashing. And there's also rewards that will be done for everybody involved, including the doctors, psychologists, veterinarians. So yes, it's definitely, anywhere where we can add more transparency by hashing things is just the benefit. So, I'm a huge fan of transparency, and that's why I want the company to be public. And I think, anywhere where we can find that we can do an additional hash for transparency purposes is we'll be using the LifeChain for that. Let's see. Are you still in contact with the UN? Will they be supporting the relaunch in some way? Yes, I have. I actually have almost weekly calls with the people from the UN. They're anxiously waiting for us. They would like for us to launch in Africa. That's in our plans for the second stage after that. So we are focusing right now on the US launch in some key cities in Latin America, just because we have to prove out the revenue streams. but soon after that, we plan on launching Europe and Africa simultaneously, starting in Nairobi, Kenya, where the UN's regional offices are, and the other launches in 4 cities in Europe, and that's how we plan on going about it. So the UN is definitely involved in this. They also want to participate in the whole analytics side and see where we can get the services out, because basically we have a lot of data that we're using to optimize things, and that's valuable data to help societies and help different regions of the world. So it's very valuable from that perspective. From our selling their data analytics, what we're doing now is we're sharing the data as part of our package deal with the manufacturers. It is part of our revenue stream. It's packaged into what we're doing with the manufacturers, so that's still happening. But we're not going through a third party to sell our analytics. We're just doing it directly ourselves, primarily because as a revenue stream, the margins are much larger, and we already have relationships directly with the manufacturers. That those are the ones that are mostly interested in these analytics. We're not going to go through a different company to do it. We're just doing it ourselves directly. So another question, do we have any target for funds to be raised at the valuation at IPO? Well, there is a target. We have for our production facilities to be fully built out with all our product lines, so we can produce generic drugs and things that we have licenses to produce and distribute. And for our launch, in a larger way, we need to raise at least $50 million at the IPO. Right now, we believe we can raise potentially more than that, showing results, and that's why the launch is so important. Everyone has focused on our IPO being at $1 billion or more, and that's why it's important for us to show results and growth and do a lot of media and PR, which we already have planned as well, and a very robust PR marketing plan. We brought in, like I mentioned in the previous AMA, Jamie Freed. He's done our contractual agreements with a whole bunch of celebrities. There's over 30 of them already that are supporting our cause for free basic healthcare. And we also have the shows on Bloomberg, Fox Business, and Newsmax that we'll be taking advantage of and doing a kind of like a mini series. It's 15-minute episodes that are going to be airing on Fridays and Sundays on our progress, our raise, our launch, and then our IPO. That's all going to be showcased and on the media. We're supposed to start actually filming this week, but I postponed it just to have some legal things wrapped up. And but we're going to start that very soon. So we have to start doing PR marketing in the media just to have people aware of the launch, and that's part of what we're using our current funds for to proceed with this. So let's see how the MTC blockchain will be funded for further development. Will you stay the CEO of this foundation? Any money from the IPO will go to the blockchain development. Well, we have a division of the funds that's going into special projects, and that basically outlines Doc.com funding projects outside of the Doc.com entity. And so that is for blockchain development. That also includes Valor Studios projects, which part of those projects are the LifeChain. So there is funds that are going into blockchain development. And what we want to do with the blockchain is make it a foundation that's open to receiving data, healthcare data from any healthcare provider, really using us as an example, just for hashing of consultations and things like that. So it provides that additional level of transparency. All the funds that come into the hashing that need to be done, that's all done in MTC. So it's a requirement for MTC to be used for all the hashing of the data as we always planned originally. The difference is this time we added the products sales, and that makes it much more robust, and it adds transactions rate for MTC. So that'll will be happening, and it'll increase the level of transactions that MTC is used for. Let's see. Next questions. How about paying employees in MTC? Well, employees always have the option to be paid in MTC. They always have that option. And it's something that's up to them, really. So, some take advantage of it, some don't. It's the deal structures there. It depends on the person, but the idea is that everyone is fully invested, and we try to offer people the best alternative, something that's very unique and keep everyone that works within the company as happy as possible. We've learned a lot of things in the past few years, so our blockchain component has always been something that makes us very unique, and it's definitely something that people love about us. So that's always an option for employees and for anyone, users and employees as well. So, our target valuation has to be, after all this process, the reason we're taking this path is because people are betting on our valuation being high. We have two options to take the company public, either do a direct listing or merge with a shell company. There's also some SPACs that have been offered to us that are soon to expire. I'm not too much of a fan of the SPACs, really, but there are, depending on the deal structure, it could be a path that we take. Right now, though, we're focusing on doing the launch, showing results, and IPOing soon after that. The fastest path to that is 90 days or less if we do decide to merge with a shell company that's already listed. Then again, there is the consideration that we could do an S1 filing soon after and have a clear projection of the IPO. The target is to do it Q4 of this year. And, the worst case scenario could extend to Q1 of next year. But right now we're on track to do it for Q4 of this year, based on what our plans are right now. And if we decide to purchase one of these shells, which we have different, very clean options right now, it just accelerates the path towards IPOing. So the thing is that we want to ensure that the valuation is robust and that people are backing it. We have enough to do it with the team that's backing us, and I mean the people that are backing us, and our trajectory as a company and our mission, and the way we're acquiring customers and how we're doing things. We do have enough to do that, but we also want to reduce the risk as much as possible, and it's definitely important that we do it with results. So above anything right now is launching, so people can see our services, and we can also show results as far as product sales and ensure that we can optimize on that. And that will bolster a higher valuation combined with our media and PR strategy that we're using. Okay, so I'm looking at the next questions. Is there still a relationship with IQVIA? Yes, of course there is. Third parties that sell analytics, such as IQVIA, they'll still be involved, even though we're doing analytics sales directly ourselves. There's other types of analytics that IQVIA does for the industry that they can use our data to help make those more precise. So wherever we can have revenue generation through analytics, we'll definitely take advantage of that, because that always helps subsidize or lower the cost of actually running the free healthcare services. So that's something that, wherever we can sell analytics, we'll still do that. Let's see. When does marketing start for Doc.com? Well, we're going to start the mini series, filming it within the next 2 weeks. There are some marketing things that we're going to wait, for the next couple of weeks till we start, until some legal things are done, some contracts come back. But that's what we'll be doing as far as marketing and PR. But direct consumer marketing will happen at launch. That means, ads going out directly to draw in users, and that'll happen when we launch. We'll do a marketing plan for that. Brad already has a marketing plan set up. He worked with Tanya to do this, to build it all out. So we do have a marketing plan to execute with that for our launch in the next the next few months. Yes, Arturo and Enrique and the whole development team, they're still involved. There's new people that are coming in as well, so they're still definitely involved. Let's see. What are the questions? We'll get more questions here. Does anyone have any other questions? Please write them in the group chat. Anyways, right now I'm actually very excited for what's been going on. It's really the kind of response we've gotten from Wall Street so far has been very positive. Everyone sees this as a very well designed company taking advantage of blockchain for transparency. And so that's definitely a positive note. The focus will be on doc.com, but there's also focus on the LifeChain aspect of it. They're the both of them. You know, our blockchain component is a key element of our PR and marketing. I mean, the reason we're unique is because as a public company, we can say, look, here's a blockchain hash that verifies publicly in real time when we're giving full consultations that take in data and when we're giving when we have product sales happening. Who else does that? No one does that currently. They don't use blockchain for that reason, and we're doing that with MTC. So from a PR perspective, there and a marketing perspective, that's being done now. What is also being said is that doc.com is using the LifeChain to do these hashes, and that's why the LifeChain is a separate entity, so that it is wrapped up into the messaging that we're doing. So there is a focus on that, and it's a key component that's spoken every single time there's a presentation. You know, it's very different saying, well, we give free consultations and we sell products to our customers, but we also do this in a very transparent fashion that we use blockchain technology to hash, and we also give rewards to our users in MTC, cryptocurrency that runs with the LifeChain, and it's something that distinguishes us because of the level of transparency that's involved and the kind of rewards that people use. So that is a current messaging and how it's being done. So it is packaged into the PR marketing. The status on the Avalanche subnet. Well, we submitted all the information to Avalanche. They already gave us basically their go ahead. We spoke directly to the executive team. Daniel and I were on those calls, and we submitted all the information to them. There's nothing really that complex as far as integrating the subnet. It's more of just running the current smart contracts that have been developed for the staking and everything, and to actually run the hashes on Avalanche is not that complex because it's EVM compatible, and you know that's also something that we have done well. So it's not that there's no real development roadblocks in that aspect. It's all planned out to be done with the launch. Sorry, some allergies right now. The current CTO is Enrique Hernandez. He was our lead developer, and he's matured over the years and has a lot more knowledge now. He's basically running the design of it. He's working in conjunction with Arturo, and we're we have our hard development stack there from our original team. The ones who did good work, they've stayed on board. There's also new people coming in, but that's how we're handling our development, and that's who's our CTO right now. The swapping of MTC for stock is currently running. People can still apply for that if they send their information in. It's a question here. When will the swapping of MTC stocks begin? Well, that'll happen before our launch. It's just really up to it's dependent on getting all the legal stuff done, which is in process currently. So it'll happen very soon, sooner rather than later. We already sent out the documents for the swap, and so that's something that we're definitely doing as everyone received their contracts for the swap. That's definitely it's something that's going to happen before our offering, and that's why everyone received those documents to do that swap. Let's see, what is the launching price of Doc.com stock, and how long will it be locked up for us? Well, the launch price of the stock hasn't been actually defined yet. We still have to wait for some of the things to happen. We know that our target valuation based on this will be above 1 billion. That's what our target valuation is. So if you compare to our private placement memorandum that we launched in January and the swap that was offered to the community for MTC for stock, then that's something that you can see that the valuation is significantly higher than what it was offered to the community. So, that was done specifically so there's a good upside for all the community members and everyone that invested and was with us through the whole process of our crypto integration. But it's still yet to be determined because there's some factors that are dependent on it. For example, our launch with the marketplace and the revenue streams that come in, those things take into effect, and also the PR media that's coming out and the word that we're getting the word out with our new services and how that's working. Those are the things that are dependent on that. But definitely everyone is making the effort for the valuation to be at least 1 billion or more. That's our target valuation. And, we all see that this is a possibility, especially with launching in the US and showing these results just because of our unique offering in the marketplace. Let's see, are you planning on liquidating debts anytime soon? Well, all of our debts, we have contracts out to liquidate debts and to put everything in order. That's all in process as well. Some things that we're waiting on is to finish our financial audit. It's still, it's something that takes from 2 to 3 months, sometimes more. And we had to get everything audited and everything ready. It's soon to be done, but all of our previous debts and anything that we had to do to put in order, those are being liquidated, as well as we packaged into it that our investment. We really don't have that big of debts in comparison to the raise that we did. It's really a small amount if you consider comparables to other companies in the marketplace. So anything that we need to do to be ready to go about this next stage will be taken care of, and that's already been talked about with our investors and the investment banks as well. Let's see. Any ambassadors or influencers set to promote MTC with the launch? Used to speak about Ivan and Tech and some others. Yes, actually, there's a slew of influencers that we have, and really the PR strategy itself is being handled mostly by Jamie Freed. So Jamie has set up a comprehensive strategy which is in line with SEC regulations. There's certain things that we can't message in a certain way. We do want to talk about the benefits of our blockchain component and the transparency that we're offering with our launch in our new marketplace. So there are influencers involved, but yet as a public company, we have to be very careful as how we go about messaging things. And it's just something that's coordinated. It has to be coordinated the right way. So the LifeChain itself and the concept of the LifeChain as a aggregator of healthcare data and a hashing service for consultations and what the future holds for the LifeChain as a decentralized data storage facility as well, or platform. Those are the things that are going to be highlighted through the example of Doc.com. So that's something that's packaged in, and really it's the marketing and PR aspect of it is mostly how many funds are there to spend on that. So LifeChain, Doc.com, and a whole PR marketing strategy. There's within the raids itself this time around, in comparison to what we did previously, we put in a large amount of funds towards marketing and PR, just so we don't have any capital constraints in regards to our marketing and PR plans. And reaching out to influencers because of what we do and because of our previous trajectory, is not difficult. Everyone always says, well, if the story is great and the mission is great, we're willing to support. Obviously things cost money, and so that's why we set aside funds for that. It's being managed through Jamie Freed and overseen by him, and all the messaging is there. It's we obviously review everything from a legal perspective with our lawyers, Sacenzia, and then they're reviewing everything, all the messaging that's going on. We have to comply with laws in the U.S. for doing the messaging the correct way. So what we want to showcase and highlight is our free services, how we're funneling customers to our marketplace that are shown in our that we showed in our last AMAs, and the transparency offered through the blockchain hashes. So those are the three main things. We can highlight those things in a very healthy way without having any conflict. So that'll be what will be highlighted, and I think it's just a matter of time for it to pick up. But we have a lot of mainstream celebrities that will be talking about us, and that's what we built out with Jamie. So that'll be enough for us to get the word out and also benefit all aspects of the LifeChain and Doc.com. Well, MTC will be swapped for LifeChain coin eventually. I think, yes, the name will change to LifeChain coin. So that's how that'll happen. I don't think there's really, maybe it's not really a swap. It's something that we can maintain the actual coins that are currently existent without having to swap them out. There's just going to be bridges that are going to be used, to bridge onto the Avalanche chain. It won't be a whole different cryptocurrency. We can't do that. We can't do that just because everyone has MTC, and that's it's always been our promise to support MTC in all our whole path. Now there will be bridges. If you want to bridge to the staking pools on Avalanche, there's a bridge for that. Also, another thing that we want to do is if we do, we create a copy of MTC, let's say on Avalanche, and we swap it out to that. For example, KuCoin has a massive amount of MTC right now, and we feel that's unfairly kept. They didn't allow many users to withdraw without it being an exorbitant cost. So, if the community decides that the best way is to create a new coin and swap it out for the new coin and eliminate what KuCoin has, we will do that. We have the capability of doing that, but it really comes down to a decision from the community. I think right now we have plans just to offer the bridge, but that's something we can decide, in the days to come. Will there be regular buybacks? Well, all the hashing requires MTC. So obviously there's a limited amount of MTC, and we have to acquire MTC to do the hashing. So that's where the buybacks will happen, and that's a transparent process with the LifeChain. You will be keep involved in handling the LifeChain. Well, I'm staying as CEO of Doc.com. The LifeChain is being handled by a different team, which is obviously directly related to us in that sense, but it's a different entity. It's a different company. So it has its own team that will be running it as it's not really a company, it's a foundation. So it's its own team that has a mandate to grow it as a foundation itself, which the foundation's first partner is Doc.com in that sense. Wouldn't it be better for PriceWise to create a new coin? Well, that's a matter of opinion. it depends. You know, it really depends. I think price really depends on two things, and it depends on kind of getting the word out, and how well distributed the coin is. One thing about MTC is that it has great distribution right now. It's in the hands of a lot of people, thousands of people. So it has great distribution, and that's something to consider when you want something to have good trading volume. So will it be better price wise? I don't know. You know, we can't give price predictions. You know, that's something no one knows the future. I mean, we've had ups where it went higher than we ever thought it was going to be, and we also had lows when it went lower than we ever thought it was going to be. All I know is that because of that experience, we've prepared things now to have a very solid base as to the use case for blockchain technology and the hashing of our services using MTC. So we have to still provide that base of transactions for it to have that intrinsic value that it needs to have. And that's what we focused on, because the market itself can do anything. We've seen it happen already. The thing is that I believe that showing the transaction rates will give us a base that's healthy and that will bring attention towards MTC in a way that people understand the use case for it and why it's being used, and why it's being used for transparency, and how it's linked up to the healthcare acquisition, the healthcare data acquisition. So those are things that we planned on doing before. Now it's easier to go about it because there's layer one blockchains that are easily they're way lower cost to use than how much it costs us with Ethereum. Obviously, Ethereum has their new version that's out now, but we have a relationship with Avalanche directly with their executive team. So that's why we decided to go go with them. So those are the benefits. Right now, it's mostly about having the right support, and we have support directly from Avalanche for that. That's why we decided to go with them for blockchain hashing. But it also brings in the Avalanche community, which is quite large. And I really like the aspect that Avalanche is the most decentralized. You know, it's one of the reasons we didn't go with Solana. You know, they have the executive team in Solana can just turn off the switch if they want to, which has been an example that we've seen in the past year. So Avalanche is very different in that sense. They're very decentralized in comparison, and they have different blockchain options. So it's really about having their support as well, their development support, things like that. So that's why we decided to go about that. What are the chances Big Pharma doesn't steal our idea? Well, there's always chances that anyone can steal the idea. But then again, think about it this way. We have doc.com. I mean, our name alone weighs a lot. We also have a very strong customer acquisition model with Brad Parsky and Nucleus. I mean, that data set of all the political campaigns and stuff that's very powerful, you know. So that's something that also is very strong on our front. And then you have to build the whole logistics. Then you have to do all the marketplace and all those things. You know, it's not just easy just to copy something and launch it just like that. So if you look at what, this kind of question comes up, in the EV space with how Tesla did it and Elon Musk did it. And they always said, well, what do you think the big players are going to come in and copy? I mean, I think we have a lot already developed out that provides transparency. Our healthcare services, we spoke with Procter & Gamble, for example. Procter & Gamble said, well, we wanted to launch a telemedicine service, but then you're like, well, we have to create protocols for every caller, for every kind of pathology and situation that comes in. Well, how do you make that efficient? How do you train doctors to actually offer these services? What system do they use? I mean, there's so many components to it to actually develop something out that's robust and that is optimizable to increase the productivity and reduce the time that a call is done in. So those are things that we already optimize. We're ahead of the game in that. We created our own protocols. When we created our protocols, no one had done that the way we went about it. And our focus was on offering a fast, easy to use service and something that acquired data and we could classify it quickly. So, there's always a chance that anything like that can happen, but the need is so huge as well that, I think even if we were one of 3 players or one of 5 players down the road, it's still, the amount of sales that happen in pharmaceuticals and over-the-counter products is just so massive. I mean, when we talk about $100 million revenue target through our marketplace, that's literally peanuts to someone like Procter & Gamble. I mean, they say, oh, this is great, that we can project out those kind of revenues during the first 12 months after launch. But for a company like a Procter & Gamble or any of the big pharma players, that's like just the beginning. They see as this becoming a much higher in revenues. So there's always a chance, but then again, you have to consider that big pharma, they have the challenge of setting up their own telemedicine services, their own psychological services, and that's something that's quite specialized. And we specialize in that. That's where we started. We started with the data acquisition and offering telemedicine services. So and we did it our own way. We didn't copy any model. We created that, through first principle thinking and creating it fresh. And, after everything that we went through with the ups and downs of the company and launching the services and expanding it so quickly, but we learned so much and we were able to optimize it. That's how we were able to launch a TracFone in the US. If it weren't for the massive bet that we made expanding so rapidly with TracFone in the US, that put us in a tight spot during the pandemic, things might be different right now, but it also taught us so many things. And the key things that we were taught were, we're great at giving telemedicine. People loved the services. They really did. And we helped so many people. The other thing that we learned is how we could actually funnel into selling products, doing it in an ethical way. And those steps and all that learning process is hard to replicate just out of the box. Our team, our doctors they're all on board. Our psychologists that did this, they learned to use our system. We optimized with them. We learned many things from that, and that's what we're bringing now to everything here. That's what we're confident in our service offering. And the marketplace is not like we're reinventing the wheel. A marketplace is something that it's quite easy to manage. It's a pretty standard setup. So you just have to populate with the right product. So there's always a chance that anyone can steal an idea. But then again, I think we're on the right path. And the focus for us is just try to innovate and spread it as fast as possible right now. If others try to come in and do that and copy us, well, I guess, so be it. But we'll be optimized and moving forwards faster. So that's always, the fundamental thing is just to keep on moving forwards and innovating, and not really worry about what the competition is doing so much, but just try to offer our services to more and more people. And that's what we're doing with Brad. The idea is that we can expand our services to as many users as possible and do it in the most efficient way. See, any plans on coming to Canada? Of course. Canada is unique that it has a day for mental health. And a lot of people have reached out to me and said, hey, want to take advantage of the whole mental health aspect in Canada. It's something that we know we can do based on U.S. logistics. Canada is a place where it's easily replicated. So there are plans to launch in Canada. We're going to focus on the 3 key cities in the U.S. right now and the ones in Latin America. But that's our main focus right now. And then we'll see. We have plans already that have been talked about to launch in Nairobi, Kenya, and 4 key cities in Europe as well as a second stage, just because the markets there are very solid, that we can take advantage of and be a leader quickly. So I have to go to the airport in a little bit. But if there's no more questions, we had a 1-hour AMA today, and I hope everyone got a clear perspective on the update and what we're doing. You Camilo Sandoval, he was a former chief information security officer. He's now part of the team as well. There's Brad, obviously, and there's a few other people that are coming in. Wall Street is very excited about this, and we have a very positive projection towards the future, especially with everything that we've learned. So so I'll be going. I have meetings in the East Coast in the U.S., so I'm flying out for some other meetings there. I have meetings with doctors, and so I'm flying out to that, and just getting the work done as fast as possible. I had just meetings this morning with the lawyers in one of the investment banks here, and it's just been doing things as fast as possible, preparing for our audit to be done, which is out of our hands and is in the auditor's hands. But that's a standard process. I think that should be done in 4 weeks or less for audit to be done, because that's also a requirement for the investment banks to place stock with investors, with retail investors. They already have them lined up, but everyone's waiting for the financial audit, just because that's the way it works in Wall Street. You have to finish that. So in parallel to that, there's other things going on. We've been preparing all the logistics and things, but it's been a lot of work, but it's also very exciting. I mean, I'm very happy with what's coming now, and we're coming at this with experience now. It's a very different scenario. We have a lot of support in the U.S. now, so the psychological service and even the veterinary service, people see that as potentially themselves will be a huge aspect or part of what we're offering as a revenue stream, and also as social impact. So we definitely saw from our previous data that our psychological service was our fastest growing service and had the most recurring users. So that combined with the marketplace is going to be interesting to see. But the cool thing is that we can, with the data that Brad brings in through Nucleus, we can kind of tailor ad campaigns to optimize each one of the lines and see which one has the best results. And so that's a hugely important thing as customer acquisition strategy, using all the campaign data that Brad has from the political campaigns and things like that. So, okay, well, I appreciate everyone joining the AMA. I'll be reporting back to the community sometime soon, probably. We'll do another AMA next month, and I'll be participating in the chat group here. I'm reading up on messages, and hope everyone is doing well. Appreciate the constant support since we've been here, and I wish everyone a great weekend. And thank you for all the support and all the backing. I really am grateful to the community for everyone that's been here from through thick and thin. So very thankful for that, and we'll be in touch soon. Goodbye, everyone.